Is it pretty?
It looks
It's
pretty.
pretty.
It looks pretty.
It's pretty weird. Ha ha. Welcome to the Toast of the Weird, where the wolf is just going to sit on his phone for a whole hour and I'm going to stare at the camera like this.
Well,
Thank you for lasting 10 whole seconds. Now please enjoy the next 60 minutes with us uninterrupted. Unless it is uninterrupted by YouTube ads. In that case, we don't apologize because you guys won't give us tacos.
no tacos. No apologies. Apologies for tacos.
No apologies for tacos. Taco apology. Apology tacos?
I'll apologize for tacos.
I'll apologize for you sending us money and us just using it for tacos. No studio upgrades, no camera upgrades, no actual like editing upgrades, no nothing.
I'll apologize when you give me tacos.
I'll apologize when we get better and there's actually a Jamie behind the camera. Thank you, Joe Rogan. And that is that. All right. Speaking of Joe Rogan, I wanted to get into this, right? I brought it up earlier, but the illusion of the first time is not our strong suit. So, Joe Rogan on Donald Trump for 3 whole solid hours. And go.
I haven't watched it.
That's it? You're like, I haven't watched it. That's all you got?
No,
Sorry,
I think
Disney.
it's an awesome example of our entertainment political sphere.
Entertainment sphere?
In a entertainment political sphere. A
So if we're
sphere.
infotainment and they're the political sphere, are they polytainment?
Wow. Whoa. That mean you're like dual entertainment though?
Multiple entertaining.
That's
Because you're
I
doing the
can see that.
political front and
Ooh, I
you're out
like
there
it. Poly
stumping like
entertaining.
rah
It's
rah
true.
ree, and then you're on camera with someone like Joe Rogan, like rah rah ree, and then you're in office, like I don't know what they're actually doing.
You think his bodyguard? Because what it looks like, from my understanding, it's like he's got a basement or something. And he does this
They've
stuff
got
in.
a studio. He's
Is
got a whole old
Well, I know it's
studio.
a
You know
studio,
what I mean?
whatever that means. Studio, fine. Space, studio. But again, is it an open building? Because I thought there was a staircase. Maybe I'm just misremembering something. But here's my question. Wherever they're at, like, where's all the president's security? Are they like outside the building? Are they just like out of frame? Are they just chilling? Is he like? Did
They're
they?
outside the door just waiting. You
Is
know what I'm
Joe
saying?
like on the list of like Donald Trump?
Hmm,
Trump is like he's good. You know what I mean? Is he like in the inner circle? So
maybe.
that's my question. The only question I have is like, where's the security at? And then also, there's that episode where Joe Rogan's playing with the authentic samurai sword.
Uh-huh.
In my mind right now, I can just see one of the security guys, special secret service, being like, "Get a picture of that sword from the
Get a picture of the sword, man. It's so cool. Because
It's
that's
on
an
his
authentic.
desk, though, right? Yeah, yeah.
No,
Hmm.
no, he brings it out whenever his guest wants to see it or whatever. But
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he was not allowed to have any weapons, even though like Rogan is this black umpteenth black belt jujitsu dude. He's like, what am I gonna do to the president? A rear naked choke on Donald Trump that's 80,
That's
what is he, 84 years old, something like that?
I thought he was 76.
No,
Maybe
he's
he's
old.
80. He's in his
He's in
80s.
his
I
80s.
have no
Wait,
idea.
hold on. Let's fact check.
No
Live fact
idea.
checking brought
Something,
to
yeah.
you by me staring at my phone.
Someone was talking about that. Some talking head was
How
talking
old
about
is
him being old.
President Trump?
Is that a premonition?
78 years old. Thank you.
You didn't even say president elect. You didn't say ex
No,
president.
he's former president. So you refer to
Exactly.
your
You just
old
said
presidents
as former president, as
as no, no,
president,
as
as like current
presidents. He,
president.
like Obama is still President Obama, even though he's been
Really?
out of office for 8 years. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, it's etiquette,
I
man.
don't see.
It's
I
it's
don't know
proper
that. It's
etiquette.
like when you get pardoned by the last president. I don't know about any of that.
No, it's
Yeah.
because you're too asleep, man. You got to wake
I
up,
don't
sheeple.
care as much. I think I know like government class from high school. I know like the inner like how it works, but do I know who's getting the bribes and who's giving the bribes? No, I don't know. I know there's bribes being given.
It's like
I
that
think.
Schoolhouse Rock. I'm just a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. They used to play for that for us
Wow.
in school, and
Yeah,
they're like,
let
"Yeah,
me
that's
make an
how it
updated
works.
version.
That's totally how it works." And
Yeah,
then if you
yeah,
have a
yeah,
savvy
yeah.
teacher, they're just like, and then there's the pork barrel, and everybody gets their hands in the pork barrel, and they just roll all this money around to
Your
whoever needs to
analogies are
get
so
reelected.
outdated.
And now it's just like, what
Update your
oligarch?
analogies. Update your shit. It's so cringe. Ugh.
I'm not gonna appeal to that generation. I'm gonna join the
Don't gaslight
generational.
me.
I'm gonna join the generational war here. You know,
I
because
love the
I do believe
recycling.
that people need to be offended so that way we understand how not to offend people and just like, all right, so
I think
I
it's okay to be
apologize.
offended sometimes.
I
I think it's
apologize
okay.
for misgendering you. So
Did you
I will
misgender
now
me?
refer to you as they, them. No, I'm just saying, like, if this generation is so like, I am not a girl, I am not a boy, I'm like, all right, cool. My apologies. You want to be called Susan, Tommy? I'll call you Susan. Done. We've
I
said that a lot, but
for no
it's a
personal
rolling topic
reasons
here.
whatsoever am always very curious and amused by the farmer reactions to that.
The farmer reactions to that. Well, how can I help you, son?
No, you haven't seen those videos. It's usually with some
Uh-uh.
farmhand, like your classic older man, not older, but like middle-aged man or woman
Yeah.
milking a cow, talking about like you think there's more than two genders, try milking a bull or something like that. Something in that. So again, I love all of their responses to it. It's the farm response, I think. There's no
So
science. They're just like, yeah, go
this
ahead, try to
is
get some milk out of
this is
the
just
bull.
another version of class warfare, to tell you the honest truth, in my opinion, because there's the
Yeah,
people who
that's
have to
true.
work and they don't have time to think about that kind of stuff because they literally need to, like, you know, milk the cows and wake up at the butt crack of dawn and get some work done, and then there's the actual people out there who are like, I sit on my computer and code for 8 hours. This is boring. What else can I think about, in my $90,000 a year salary? Meanwhile, the guy getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work to make sure that the milk is on the table, you know, has a totally different, let me complete that thought. They have a totally different perspective on what they think needs to actually get done.
I think there's the fuck, I had the thought. It's the difference of life experience. We talked about this too. How people will pay for life experience. So the
Yeah,
other
okay,
person who has, say, more time or energy and more income has no life experience.
fair. I mean, well,
Nothing's
they
going
have
on.
life experience, but it's not
Eh,
like, it's a different kind of life
okay,
experience.
life experience in the sense that yeah, they're experiencing life, but do they have any stories? Is there anything like impactful about their day? Is there anything that they can really, embody in someone else? No. But the farmer has skills, has, endurance, has all this other stuff. So yeah,
Hmm.
that person may lack in the income, but do they know how to deal with animals? They have animal empathy. What's it called? Animal husbandry.
Husbandry, yeah.
Animal husbandry. Are they able to work things with their hands? There's skills that that person has that they literally take for granted in the sense that they're basic knowledge for them, like rudimentary knowledge, and that person who codes doesn't know how to fix a door handle,
Yeah,
wouldn't know how to fix a
okay.
fence.
I call it zombie apocalypse skills
Hmm.
in my own mind, not to anybody at all, ever. But the way that I view it is, in a zombie apocalypse, are you one of the zombies? Or are you actually going to be able
Ooh.
to survive? Do you have skills necessary for survival? You know what I'm saying? Because this goes back into politics. But there's a certain class of individuals that have become obese, that have been granted basically the laziness gene, that are actually watching this podcast right now, infotainment cast right now. I blame you. No, not really. But there are a certain subsect of people that literally they just go to work, maybe they sit behind a desk, they do what they do, they go home, they sit in front of their TV, and then they go to bed only to repeat the process with the whole hope that they get 48 hours off to be able to sit in front of the TV and do that. And that's their weird. That's the way that they want to live their life. There's nothing wrong with it, which is this going to get edited out of context and, fly back in our faces if we ever get famous with
I mean,
your
they're still
help.
talking about us. I'm just saying, like
Yeah, but
60% fans, 40% haters,
but
right?
the way that I see it is that there are those types of people, and then there are the on the other hand, there's the construction worker who gets up, goes to work 5 o'clock in the morning before the sun even starts to rise, busts his back, you know, doing what he does, comes home, drinks a 40 pack of beer, and then goes to sleep, wakes up wondering why he's broke and feels like garbage, to do it all over again, you know? It's 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 two dichotomies of the same thing, right?
Well, you talked about zombie apocalypse skills, and I think that the two examples you have, I
Hmm.
think it would depend on the person. So let's
Yeah.
just, just because you're a computer programmer does not mean you can't be fit, can't have
Well,
skills, can't be
that's the
adaptable.
thing. Like, what do you do in your off time? What are you doing for
What kind of
yourself? What kind of
person really are you?
skills are
Yeah.
you acquiring? Because the construction worker who does put in the hard labor might be able to survive a little bit longer than a computer programmer who doesn't do any hard labor, but they don't elevate their skills beyond their job set, right?
Well, let me throw a monkey wrench in that analogy. I think in the very beginning, the construction worker would be better off. Long term, maybe the education from depending on long term and the other person may last longer. So again, that depends on the person.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, do they go above and beyond outside their own jobs and their own skill sets, you know?
right. Because the construction worker could have a little garden at home
Hmm.
and
The
offset the skills of whatever else
the
they
the
need or
computer programmer could have a garden at home, learning
workout
how to do
center.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, learning their
just a little
center.
training.
And then on the weekends, who knows, they go hunting or whatever, hunting, hiking, fishing, whatever that is. And the construction worker, on the other hand, they're few and far between, might just sit in front of a computer and stare at it all day because they're so broken and hurt that they don't want to do anything else.
Right? Or depending on like you could use like Arnold Schwarzenegger always talked about how he had multiple jobs. Right? If I can't remember correctly, 100%, but he worked like construction, he worked out, he did acting classes, etc. So I think it also just depends on where you're at. So maybe
Hmm.
if you're in your early 30s, 20 somewhere in there, you won't be so broken up. But if you're like 50 in construction, yeah, I bet you're pretty torn
Yeah,
up.
very few elders in construction. I'll tell you that much right now. There's very few old men in construction. And if they are there, they're usually, supervisor of some type. But the ones who come back as older gentlemen, they're few, very, very few and far between. That's not to say that they're not there, but it's a hard life that they're living.
I think 'cause there was a video I did either I sent you or I have it on my section. It is, and we talked about this before, and it's just no disrespect at all, so please don't think that whatsoever. We talked about the long-term effects of like bodybuilding
Hmm.
on you,
We've talked about it before, yeah.
right? And it was Jay Cutler. Oh man, I can't remember his name. The other gentleman, he beat him out so many different times. Ah, I want to look it up. His name is right there. Like, see, goddamn, he used to be a
Ronnie,
police officer.
the Ronnie
Ronnie Coman?
Coman,
Yeah, that's it.
Ronnie.
The C was in my name. He used to be a police officer. Anyway,
Yeah.
and they show them both uh, now, and they showed a clip. So the top part of the clip is them in 2005, probably one of their last competitions, maybe whatever, looking super fit and lean, and
Hmm.
Ronnie was beating him, right? I'm sure because it was a Jay and Ronnie show they always talked about, and it's like 2024 and poor Ronnie is like using Jay Cutler as like a human,
Crutch.
like yeah, like
Yeah. Well, that's
coming up to the stage and everything, and you see, how it's torn him up, and I'm just like, man,
hmm that's not natural. It's not natural what they do. I
to a
know
certain
people are
point,
going to
you
be
think, right? Like,
upset, but if you look a certain way, everybody knows that you're on some kind of gear. Everybody knows. You can just look and go, there's that whole natty or not thing that's going on. There's gym rats who go to other gym rats and they stick a mic in their face for the purpose of views, which is why I'm bringing it up because we need views. But
views.
they go natty or not, and the other person goes, "No, I'm not natty. Like, I'm not natty. Like, look at this big head. Whatever the case is. By using supplements like TRT, growth hormone, whatever other supplements that they use, steroids is what we used to call it back in the day. The steroids is what actually takes the terrible toll on the body. You know, and that's what makes them all look really muscular and like defined and all that, whatever. But and that's all I got to say about that.
So basically, again, if you stick a mic in someone's face and they say natty or not, that means
Yeah,
like,
are you naturally that big or are you
okay,
not that big? There's this
okay.
terrible one. Oh God, I'm so sorry to call this out, but there's this terrible one where this guy goes up to this chick bodybuilder and he's all natty or not, and she is not natural at all. And she goes, none of your business. And she's got like lines on her face that aren't even naturally there at all in any like
Wow.
stretch of the imagination, elderly or not. Like, and she's like, really like, what do you mean? In your face. And I'm like, oh, you're overly aggressive and you look like that? You're not natural. Like, I'm just going to throw that out there.
When you ask someone a yes or no question, they refuse to answer, it's usually a yes.
Probably. It's usually
Usually a
whatever the
yes.
negative is that they don't want to convey.
And
Whatever.
it's their non-lying answer.
Yeah.
I don't want to answer that question. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a
Well, I'll put it to you this way. That person, that lady, whatever she identifies as, could probably knock me out
oh
easy.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
easy. But I would run fast. I really would. I'm not sticking around. Yeah. Go.
I don't think it has anything to do with your manliness either. I think it has to do with like you're just like looking at an opponent and you're like sizing him up and you're like not ready for this boss fight. You're like come back in 10 levels or what? I mean,
Right? Like I'm not gonna survive this. I'm not gonna survive
like
this
I
at
will
all.
stand up to any person that I need to, but like right now, like the world's strongest man, like that guy just comes to mind. Like if he was right there, I'd be like, all right, this is not gonna go the way I want it, but I'm gonna stand my ground. Like I'm just
Everybody's
saying,
got 30 seconds in them. That's all I'm gonna say. Everybody's got
like
30
I'm
seconds in
gonna.
them, and that's that. If you take their back and choke them out, you might have a chance. But other than that, getting punched in the face, nah.
No, like I'm not the same height, but I'm the same body weight as Bruce Lee, and that would be a great, matchup, like between the two, like kind of skill wise and
As far
everything.
as weight classes go, and maybe like a
No, but I'm
UFC
just
boxing kind of
no,
like, we're
but
gonna
just
make this a fair fight and everybody's gonna
it's
play by the
skill. I
rules.
mean, again, that would be again to have to the gentleman who would be that big as if he was martial artsly trained too, like as the same level as Bruce Lee, that would also throw stuff off way
Hmm.
too. Imagine someone Viking stature who is world renowned. Like that's ridiculous. That's some old world soldier. So anyway, what I'm saying is I would stand up to a man. I need to because that's the pride of being a
Yeah, but
man.
the
But knowing that that person, that giant's gonna crush you, like nail you into the ground like a spike, like
yeah, like
just let's be realistic,
that
folks.
woman that had probably 100 pounds of muscle on her easy, and the rest was whatever. She could be like 4'7", and I still would not try to fight her, to tell you the honest truth.
Oh, this is what I mean. What I'm saying is, I know you as a person, and I'm like, you would stand your ground and be like, "All right, honey, children, you're like, I'm gonna fight this person while you guys leave. I'm not gonna cower out, but
Don't get me
I'm not
wrong,
gonna
like
like."
in the right situation, I will stand my ground. But
Just
to
knowing
just
that.
have a useless, pointless
Absolutely.
confrontation
Yeah.
fight,
Yeah.
that's not like whatever. Like, no, that's beside the point. This was like, would you fight her just to prove your manliness? No, I would not. I don't need to
I
prove
don't.
that.
Yeah.
She's probably way more of a man than I am. Like, look at the numbers genetically. Her testosterone is probably through the roof compared to mine. Like, I work out occasionally and I don't take steroids.
Where's this conversation going? Where are we
Who
going with this?
cares? It's infotainment. Would you fight a female bodybuilder? Is what CapCut's gonna say, probably, or just like completely edit it out because it's so offensive.
I mean, it's a phenomenal question for people. I would not.
I'm gonna make that
It's
the
like
title
also
of
like
this
I
episode.
wouldn't,
Would you
like
fight a female bodybuilder?
I wouldn't fight a female one, two, well,
I would.
I wouldn't fight a female.
In the right, yeah, like, heck yeah, in the right situation.
Okay, there's a difference between defending yourself. I want to
Exactly.
say
That's what I'm
they're
saying.
not fighting. Like to me, that's like I don't know, being aggressive. I
It's
want to say is
self-defense.
fighting. Self-defense. There you go.
Yeah,
I
okay,
got you. You
okay.
don't
So
like.
to rephrase, I
Thank
wouldn't
you. Don't.
pick a
You're not
fight. I
Don't
wouldn't
be. You're not
start
abusive. Don't. Yeah. Don't be
fights.
like that. I think. And
Yeah.
also, here's another thing too. It's a controversial topic, and I've seen some videos, depending on the way you view things. I mean, I've you could take a slap or two. There's no reason why you gotta like put your hands on a woman.
Yeah.
However, the other side of that coin is if you put your hands on somebody, regardless of who you are, gender, or whatever, expect that person to put hands back on you.
Expect the consequences.
That's,
There are results to every action, I guess, is a
so
good way to
again,
put
too,
it
like if
too.
you want to square up against someone and, you think just because, whatever, they can't come back at you. And here's what I mean by that. It was a great video, love it or hate it. It was edited and shot very, very good. This woman in a bar goes up to a man and just slaps him. I don't know the context of it, whatever. I have no idea what happened, but that man put her on her ass. He laid
Really?
her out,
Just laid her out?
slapped her down, yeah, and the context kind of was just that, like, if you're gonna step up to somebody, be aware of it. But
Yeah.
again, too, hold on, like that's a whole other cookie to crumble. You know what I'm saying? We don't know the circumstances, you don't know whatever. The
Yeah.
bottom line is, just like when you're kids, it's like everyone knows when you're 6 years old how to act and how to, and then we're adults, we forget this shit. No one needs to hurt each other. No one needs to put
I
hands on
guess
anyone else for any fucking
I guess
reason.
the real
Don't do that.
question of this infotainment podcast is this. Do you think President Trump would fight a female bodybuilder?
Like, I mean, we're here
Because
to
I was
ask
just
those
thinking,
hard
I was like,
questions. We're here to get those hard
the hard
answers.
question. I was just thinking, how did we go from President Trump talking for 3 hours to fighting female
I don't know why, but
bodybuilders?
it just, again, to remind me of something, and this is where I get this from. Something my mom said to me. My mother said to
Okay,
me,
mother's wisdom.
you gotta take it for what it is, folks. Never hit a woman. Never ever hit a woman is what she said to me. She's like, but if she stands to you and balls her fist to you like a man, she said you lay her out like a man because you do not get hit or hurt by someone else.
And then at this day and age, in this day and age, I didn't assume their gender. Is that a thing? Like equal rights? Equal
Equal
rights could
lefts,
totally be a
equal
thing.
lefts.
I
No,
know,
equal
right?
rights, equal lefts.
Like, okay.
Don't put
How
your
far
hands
does
on
that debate
people.
go, though? For real, how far does that debate go? Don't assume my gender. All right, throw down, motherfucker.
Oh my! You know what? This another video I saw of. I don't want to. I don't know where they were. They were an Asian couple. I don't know where they were. It was a mall, so I don't know if it was in America or not. But this couple, the man was holding the child, 2, 3 years old, maybe five at the least, most. And the girl is just like smacking and hitting him and like going all out and just like hitting him. And he's like trying to push her away and like I don't know if she accidentally hit the kid but got really close, but she's like going off and hitting him and whatever. And finally he gets tired of it, like after the 15th slap or something like that, and he like hits her, pushes her down or something like that, like one time, something like that, and then
Yeah.
goes over like top her, kind of like, what are you doing? Like, sets the kid down, some around that scenario, and then picks the kid back up maybe and goes. So again, at what point is any of that fair? Should she be doing that? Should she
Hmm.
be putting hands on him? I don't know what
Well,
he did. I don't know what she did. I don't know any of that.
I really think that you have the right at your discretion to use the force necessary to get out of a confrontation, to tell you the honest truth. And that depends on from situation to situation. Like I didn't see this video,
Yeah.
but if she's wailing on him, he puts his kid down and then just pushes her like onto the ground, picks up the kid and exits the situation. Is that what happened? Like,
Again, I don't know if I misremember, but again,
all right.
it's that topic again too. If it's no one should hurt anyone else. Everyone should be able to use their words and whatnot. But if someone, regardless of male or female,
Mm-hmm.
puts hands on you, then again, it's the same thing as, like an abusive man on a woman. That woman has the right to defend herself,
Yeah,
but
she
again,
does.
yeah, absolutely,
By any force she deems necessary
hmm
to exit the situation. And that's really like laws be damned. I'm not a lawyer. This isn't legal advice.
it's,
Don't ever take any of the things that I say absolutely seriously. Though I tell you the sky is blue, I want you to go verify that the sky is blue. But that woman has every single right in her ability to stop that and exit the situation.
hmm I don't know why we get on this topic here, but talking about
Like I said,
female
dude,
bodybuilders.
like I said, that like would President Trump fight a female bodybuilder? Probably, probably would. But
I mean, there's probably some female bodybuilders that would probably volunteer to fight Trump. I mean, like,
yeah.
there's
So
some
I
tough
keep
women out there.
I,
Fuck, I
I
wouldn't fight with
keep
him.
thinking of this situation.
He's
Like
an
we
old
talk
man.
about size and skill level and all that stuff. I think about this situation that
Gender,
happened
yeah.
overseas somewhere else, and it's pretty viral video. It's out there. And there's this giant heavy-set boxing woman
Uh
who's
huh.
used to like just you could tell the way that she was acting. She's used to laying her opponents out,
Yeah.
going up against this really small fighter, for comparative
Uh
stature,
huh.
right? Like the heavier set fighter had at least, two of hers on, you know what I
Wow.
mean?
Okay, like a double, like okay, twice the
Yeah, there
size.
was there was quite a lot, right? And this tiny fighter, she goes into the ring. It's fight time. She goes into the ring and she's just getting this fighter to like approach her. And then she goes to the other ring and then the fighter comes at her. And then she's like, come on, let's fight. And, with the body language. And after a minute or two of this going on, the little fighter moves in and pushes her down. Yeah, this is like barehanded too. She pushes her down. So the bigger fighter falls onto the ground and the tiny fighter just jumps up and starts choking her, just jumps up and starts choking her, and then she taps, and then the scrawny fighter lets go, right?
Wow.
So I don't know where the hell I was going with this, other than it was a really cool story about the little guy overtaking a bigger
Was it two
opponent.
females though?
Yeah, it was two
Okay.
females going at it in some kind of UFC contest overseas. I'm sure you could find it,
Okay.
but she like tires her out and then pushes her down and chokes her, and she wins the fight, like winner kind of stuff, you know.
But
So
I'm kind of looking at it, you're like, this person can get wailed on by this big ass
yeah,
person.
like going into the fight, you're like, oh man, I feel sorry for that tiny person. All she's got to do is sit down on her and she's done. She's done with life, you
Right.
know? But that's not the case that happened. The tiny fighter pushed her over and choked her out. But, like it's overseas, so you never know if there's money involved or whatever. But I thought it was kind of an inspirational story for the little person that wants to fight against somebody bigger. Maybe everybody's got 30 seconds in them and you don't know who's trained what. So be kind to everyone.
It's true. Just because someone looks small and, undaunting, you never know.
Mm-hmm. Never judge a book by its cover.
I don't. That reminds me. It was a while ago. It was a female UFC fighter, I believe.
All right.
Someone tried to jump her, whatever, and she like beat the crap out of this fucking person.
Nice.
Some guy, something like that, like just beat the shit out of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, was that excessive force? Not sure. But here's the
Yeah,
question.
what was the situation?
Exactly, right? It's kind of like another. It was a while after that, or way, way, way before that. Excuse me, way, way before that. There was a male fighter who was someone tried to rob him, or I was going to an ATM or something, and he beat the crap out of him.
Really?
Yeah, I remember some of this. So I think it had again too. Do you blame that person for being overly aggressive because they're trained, or regardless of the gender, the scenario, the situation, the simple line got crossed that you did something inappropriate and you crossed someone's boundaries, like tried to
Mm-hmm.
hurt them, tried to do whatever, and you got the consequences.
Yeah. Well,
Period.
the professional fighters get sued all the time by people who start fights with them.
Yeah,
And it's such a prevalent thing, and it's so stupid. It's like you started that fight. Like you get what you get, man.
exactly. You should have
So
been like that. Yeah.
there's multiple videos out there of professional fighters de-escalating confrontations by restraining people on the ground, and they have a loved one filming the whole thing going on because they're going to need it. As soon as that person on the ground figures out that they're a professional fighter, it's going to go to court and it's going to be litigious, and all this other fun stuff is going to go down for that fighter. Like they could get suspended, they can, go to jail, fines,
And a
get
bunch of that
sued in
stuff shouldn't
civil
even
court.
matter. Like this is where like things cross, and this is where I don't. Someone's personal and professional shouldn't intermingle.
To me, if you recognize, let's take Sean Strickland for an example, because he's all about, he's like, I don't know how to describe this dude other than he's like the wild hillbilly of the UFC. Like he
Okay.
shows up, he trains, all he does is fight, and that's how he trains. He doesn't do any of the cardio, the lifting, any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. No, we talking about this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. He's
there's
big,
the
one of
the
the
Sean
biggest, one of the
Stricklands of the
strongest
world.
guys. Yeah,
He's a badass dude.
yeah.
He's a badass fighter. But somebody recognizes Sean Strickland in a bar, and they're like, I'm gonna fight him. You get what you deserve, man. You
Exactly.
get what you get.
Exactly.
None of this, and then I'm gonna sue him bullshit. Mm-mm.
I think again too, it goes back to the old days of, like, I would say, self-defense. If back in the day, if someone could prove there was an aggressor and a conflict, something like that, the other person defending themselves didn't get any sort of repercussion.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like, oh well, yeah, he came at you,
You're
but
responsible for 64% of the fight.
really?
What? No, I'm just
Okay,
saying,
yeah, it's like
like,
someone came
it's a
at you to kill
60-40
you.
or whatever kind of
Yeah.
stuff. It's like, no, they started stuff with them. They got what they got.
Yeah, so he tried to rob you, and you should just given him your money. It wasn't,
Yeah.
threatening. Like, no, he had a
Yeah.
gun or a knife, and you don't know what was going to happen. That was
He had his
life-threatening
hand in his
scenario.
pocket and it was pointed at you. It could have been his finger and you ended his life, but it was just his finger. So you're going to go down for murder one.
Or maybe some
What?
fool should have been trying to rob you and acting like they had a weapon,
Yeah.
and that moment where they came across the wrong person,
Yeah. Exactly.
that's your own fault. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
spread kindness, spread love. You never know who's doing what or what they're having throughout their day. I guess that's a good way
Oh no, but
to
that
wrap
actually
that
that
up.
what that reminds me of something I've been seeing a lot, and this is a perfect example. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, there you go. There's that too. There's that too. But seriously, don't go starting shit with people. There's no cause for it,
Don't hurt anyone, yeah.
you know? Anyway, that'll be edited out. Or not. All right. You want to get into some woo woo?
Yeah, let's pull out the dowsing rods.
Let's get into some woo woo. Woo woo. Oh, it's been sitting in the sun.
That's your phone?
That was my phone. Yep. That
How can
was
we tell
my
if we're still recording?
that was my security camera. It's the little red dot that's flashing at us.
See how professional we are?
Yeah. Figuring it out as we go along. So, I have spiritual dowsing rods. And this is kind of cool. Thank you, Solar Glow Meditations. Go check her out on every platform available. That's where I got these things. They spin independently. Whee! Of their sleeves. I'm like half tempted to cut off the balls and use them as actual like water finder things. Cut off the copper balls. We were at the park earlier today doing that kind of a thing.
Pretty accurate. Found some water
Ooh.
lines.
Well, that's what you use dowsing rods for. Um, sorry, Mr. Rogan, we didn't film any of that because I couldn't actually confirm where water lines were, but they crossed. They go like this and like that. And there's a lot of naysayers out there about this. So speak of it what you will.
I think it's all about how you approach something. So I can see if you're a little too the
Yeah, well,
spirits are
this
guiding.
is
I
the
think I
thing
understand,
though.
but
Like
when there is
this is the thing. You're supposed to ground and clear your thoughts. And what I just did with the quartz crystal was cleanse the dowsing rods
or charge them.
or charge them, however it works. I don't
Maybe you
understand it.
mechanically stimulated the quartz crystal against a conductive
Maybe.
material, and now there might be a charge inside the copper.
Yeah, but the whole thing is that you ask, is there a spirit with us that's willing to answer the questions, cross the rods for yes, and throw them out wide for no? And they did nothing. So there you go. Dowsing rods don't work.
Are you irritated we bothered you?
You started off with your rods crossed. Don't cross the streams. You're just in a different space. Here, try that. There. And then go like that right there. Oh, no, you're crossing them. You got to level them out so that way they sit like that. There you go.
So this is what oxidized copper looks like.
Shiny copper.
Awesome.
It's about $3 a pound. What's actually really strange is I was sitting with my little girl and I was doing this and it was working. It was like, it was so strange. We were sitting there and it was like, is there a spirit amongst us willing to answer questions? And then they crossed just a little bit like that. Only I moved them just like that. And then they went out like that. And it was actually kind of a cool experience, which led me to think it would work here.
This is my thoughts. I
So now
mean,
we have to do the next 30 minutes ad-libbing.
whatever is going on in the other realm, I want to say, if you want to look at it that way,
Okay.
let's not feel so selfish in the sense that they may not be doing stuff. Maybe they're not. Who knows? Maybe in that moment there was a spirit with you guys, and then maybe there's not now.
Who knows?
You never know.
I'll try
Maybe
again.
easier for someone else to call upon them.
I
Either way, tacos, folks. I'm getting a little hungry.
I know the people out there, they're going to use it as a debunking video, but I will try this again and again and again and again and again. Victory will be mine.
There's, I think, a lot to take in that aspect. A lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, like
Well,
you had the analogy of the math teachers too, you know. So sure, maybe this works for Solar Glow Meditations, which is a really entertaining Facebook channel or YouTube channel, whatever.
maybe that person's spiritual connection is higher.
Yeah, yeah, like you were saying, there's good math teachers out there that can convey the point of the math, and then there's bad math teachers out there who can't convey anything, and then
You
there's
might as well
people
be.
out there in the audience going, I don't understand math. And then you got the Mr. Incredibles of the world going, math is math. Why do they keep changing it? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I do know if I slap two quartz crystals together or I rub them, like the phaseoelectricity charges it. So
Pizza.
piezoelectricity, physio. That's what happens when you only ever read words.
No, I mean, again, it could be something else completely different. And I don't know what piezoelectricity is. Do you? I mean, it could be something. Maybe you stumbled onto something,
So I went down this whole like spiritual exploration path when I read that the CIA proved the remote viewer thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that led me down this whole wormhole, rabbit hole of the internet, you know. And I'm pretty sure there are fake people out there, and I'm pretty sure that there are real people out there, just like anything else. I'm looking at you, Joel Osteen. Fuck Joel Osteen. You don't know who Joel Osteen is?
It sounds familiar, but
Oh
again,
God.
too, like I try to not, you know.
So he's the pastor of a megachurch that wouldn't open up his megachurch to hurricane victims
That's right.
because
They messed
they
up his
just
carpet.
got the church recarpeted, I believe was the official
That's right. I remember you
explanation.
talking about him.
And then he buckled and opened it up as a shelter for people or some shit happened. So, yeah. If Scotty K can say fuck B Shred, I can say fuck Joel Osteen.
That's a perfect example of a church.
But the point is that there are like actual spiritual practitioners out there, and then there are fake spiritual practitioners out there, I'm sure. You know, like
I think that's the
Joel Osteen.
example of the shepherd using the flock, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Not
was
leading it, but like, yeah, who's gonna make me my sweater today?
Yeah, I was actually reading comments regarding this, and they're like, if the person is more about them than they are about actually doing good, then that's probably a sign that you're at the wrong church, you know, or in the wrong religion or whatever.
This is my question. Why does he have such a nice suit on if they're about charity?
No, I got a whole lot of
Like,
questions,
it's like, how many people could you have fed with your outfit?
right? The guy that gets me is the blow guy, where he's like, I blow Satan out of you. And he does that. Have you seen that dude?
What? No.
That dude cracks me up. I love that guy. He was in an interview with a reporter and she straight up asked him, "Why do you have a private jet?" And he's like, "Because God wants me to have a private jet. I tried flying with the regular people and I just couldn't because they smelled so bad," or something like that. It was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I forgot what the guy's name is, but he's like, "And I blow Satan out of you." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. You're blowing something, buddy."
I think that's a great example of believing the lie.
I
Like that person's just perpetuating a
what
persona. Like,
Yeah, what gets me is that these people have such great charisma that they've convinced other people to like give them money to their church to help the charities. And like other people out there are looking at this going, why would you do that? But you're not inside of it either. You know what I mean? You're not wrapped up in the hypnosis,
the only thing bad about that scenario, the only thing bad about that scenario is what that person is doing with their charisma.
right? I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that. And then here we are struggling to get 900 views. Like,
No, tacos
subscribe,
are
share
probably
with a friend.
I, again too. We got to be that charismatic.
Brrr. I will get on my knees and I will blow Satan. Wait.
Can you even say that? Is that gonna make it online? I mean, we don't need views that bad. I mean, I don't. If we get famous and I don't, I'm just gonna right now. I have no idea what my co-host was doing. I don't know how we got so many subscribers. I don't know what. I mean, I didn't. I wasn't.
You know,
I wasn't aware.
I often,
Um,
I often do this thing where I say stuff and I'm like, that doesn't sound right at all.
Maybe this is the point
This
where
was one of
I
them.
can't look back and be like, I didn't know, and they're like right there. It was pretty obvious. I mean, I was just, am I just being naive? Can someone tell me I'm just being naive? Can you see what I'm not seeing? Because we all heard it, right? We all heard
Oh,
it.
it's gonna be recorded and on the internet forever. My children will be so proud of me.
We get a lot of Satanist supporters after this one. I bet there are a lot of alternate religious
And just
folks
for
just kind of.
$5 a month, you can give us tacos. Or ham tacos.
I'll eat some tacos. I don't know what he'll be eating, but.
Sausage. Oh man. Ugh.
And where to go from next? From here? Where to
So
go from
men's
now?
mental health.
Yeah, mental health. Anyway, folks, if you need
No,
anything,
I think that's
don't
about it.
resort
That's it
to
for us.
um yeah, I think no I don't know. I feel kind of dirty. Let's let's leave on a different note here. Um yeah. So he's a little
All
catatonic with him and his otherworldly interests. I'm gonna just continue on.
right, we'll drop
Um
it. I'm good. I'm here.
Chemtrails.
I'm up.
There was an artist, it was a gentleman, I don't remember where he was from, but he was talking about how he was getting paid by Disney to go back and put in chemtrails in all the old movies. Anyway,
We talked about that before, but what we really need to talk about is the men's mental health thing. I think that should be taken really seriously. And I think if we take a minute and like go from my psychotic break right now to like, hey, if you're struggling, reach out, do a buddy check, dial 988 in the States, look out for local resources in the rest of the world, because I know sometimes we get internationally viewed because the internet is a wonderful thing. Or at best, like check in, go hang out, go get into nature, go hug a tree.
it's true. There was a list I came across that talked about ways to self heal: water, sleep,
Exercise.
exercise,
Mm-hmm.
nature, all free, all
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. Tell you a real story. I was having a struggling time and I went to my doctor and they prescribed me some um antidepressants. I forgot what it was or what have you, but it made me feel like I was just taking a party drug when I was on it.
Yeah.
That's the way that it made me feel,
No.
and it wasn't anything that I enjoyed, that I liked, that worked for me. So I started doing my own research and I started exercising and I started going out and being a part of a group and moving and enjoying my company, the people that I was around. And that worked a whole hell of a lot better for me than the medication did for me. Now, on the flip side of that, I've known people who they try to exercise, they try to do everything right, and it gives them the opposite effect. Like it feels like a party drug and then it wears off, but they need the medication. So please consult with your doctor and figure out what works for you. I'm not saying either which way is right. Whatever keeps you on this side of the dirt is probably the right way to go
Perhaps
about
a
it.
combination of both. Some people need both. Some people only need,
Hmm.
one.
Yeah,
We can tell you just exercise, but you are you.
yeah, yeah. For me, if I don't exercise, my mental health deteriorates
Yeah.
really bad.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know how it is for other people, but for me, that's just my experience.
15 minutes a day or less. You'd be surprised, about 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
1% a day, 14.7 minutes.
What is that?
13
What
and a
was
half.
that
Hmm.
push-up video thing that we did the other day? Do you know what that was called? The push-up challenge or whatever?
Maybe.
Do the push-up challenge. Tag us in it. Reach out.
That was a good. Yeah, my sides were hurting for like 2 days.
Yeah. And then I told you to do 5 the next day.
And
Did
I
you do it?
sure didn't do them. On that note,
Good
until
job.
next time,
Good job. All right, keep it weird.
stay weird.